hate this microphone.
Whoop.
So this is our, let me check the levels. This is our 8th episode. We're in a different little studio because the other one's occupied at the moment, in case any of you perverts out there are curious. So the quality might be a little different audio-wise. So I just want to preface that. It's because we're in a different spot. So, I'm Colin.
I'm Daniel.
Yeah, that other guy, Greg, isn't with us again. He's, who cares where he is. So we're gonna, what is going on? So we're gonna finish talking about the Godzilla series. What, is it the headset?
I'm hearing like...
Yeah, it's a commercial.
I was like, I'm hearing a broadcast.
Speak again?
I was saying I was hearing a broadcast and...
Why are you coming in so high? Alright, say again. Don't be so close to the mic. This is a good distance. Yeah, how's that? Okay.
Don't get yourself.
Alright, now that all the technical stuff is out of the way, we're going to finish talking about Godzilla.
Yeah.
I hate this microphone. And then we'll talk about...
I love how you say you hate that microphone, but you had the same exact problem in the other room.
Yeah, this one's like hanging. Like when old people, like their skin hangs. So you can get that image in your head. Nice and wrinkly. So later on the show, because this is going to be a quick one today, so we're going to be talking about some reboots and all that nonsense. So without further ado, I believe we left off on Godzilla 2000.
Yeah.
So we already talked about that one. So after that one came Godzilla vs. Megaguirus.
Yeah.
And that one was really weird, I remember. Because I watched, like I said, I watched them all last year. And that one is full of weird moments. Like Godzilla just jumps straight up in the air and lands on Megaguirus for whatever reason. I know in that one they're trying to build like a black hole device.
Yeah,
trying to suck up Godzilla or something like that.
And then didn't it opened up on the other side and like an insect came through.
Yeah, that's what the Megaguirus is, like some kind of alien. Not alien, but whatever. It got mutated through a black hole. Yeah, very weird movie.
Yeah. It's pretty I actually forgot about it until we just mentioned it.
There were a couple shots in the movie that they would Megaguirus was used with a puppet or like a marionette.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be a couple shots where at night you can see the strings pulling Megaguirus. And this is 2000 it came out in, so I don't know why they just didn't paint out the strings. Because anyone with Photoshop can just do that frame by frame. It's really, even idiots like me can do that. So I don't know why, just that kind of stuff bothers me where they could easily paint that out.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Megaguirus was okay.
Yeah, it's one of the most forgetful ones, I feel like.
He was, or no, it was a she.
Yeah, it was a girl.
Yeah, so she was a queen, right? There was
I don't know about that.
No, because weren't there little ones?
Yeah.
There were little ones.
Yeah,
she had a hive, and it was just Godzilla wasn't really a good or a bad guy in this. He kind of just was he rose up.
Well, this one also it retconned the first movie, or not it didn't retcon it. So there's a picture I saw that has all the continuity of the Godzilla movies, and in the Millennium series especially, for the most part the sequels are not actual sequels. You know, they don't follow a direct story in between each other. They all branch off from the original movie.
Yeah.
So Godzilla 2000 is a direct sequel to the original, as is this one a direct sequel.
And then because Tokyo SOS,
GMK, but only Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS are direct sequels.
Yeah.
And those movies are also sequels of the first one.
Yeah.
Even Mothra, the original, all that nonsense. So speaking of GMK, which is Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. I thought this one was pretty good.
Such a long title.
Yeah.
Could have just said...
Can you imagine what the movie theaters when they had to put the name up? You know, have the now showing, and they had to abbreviate everything.
Yeah.
GMK.
But before we, real quickly, the ending fight in Megaguirus.
Yeah, where he jumps on her?
No, not that, but when he caught...
Oh, yeah, the tip in his mouth, and he snaps it. And
Yeah.
you could tell it's clearly like
But
some kind
no,
of
no-
paper mache thing he broke.
But it was. I just would always like. I always just thought was a little weird about it was how they did the camera angle on it, the shot,
Yeah.
because you see her charge him, and then it just like the camera stops
Yeah.
from like the backside, and then it does like a weird pan and like a freeze frame of like the her stinger just in his mouth.
And then like does some kind of slow motion effects.
Yeah, that's
You
what I
can
mean.
tell they shot it in regular, and then in post they slowed it down, and all the frames look kind of fidgety.
It was
So
just
I don't
a
know why
weird
they just
shot,
didn't get like
yeah.
a camera that specialized in slow motion, and they could just do that if they wanted to.
Yeah.
A lot of bizarre choices in that movie.
Yeah, but he wasn't a good or a bad guy in this.
Godzilla.
Yeah,
Hey, keep talking. Don't mind
like,
me.
what? No, I'm asking. It wasn't he was just more like he was.
He was just
there,
kind of there,
and then
I
he just
guess.
he just conveniently shows up to fight her at the end.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said,
It's pretty forgettable.
a lot of odd choices in that movie. You know,
Yeah.
this thing is fighting me like my wife.
No, now I don't hear you at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because I turned this down a little bit. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. So that's what that
You.
does.
Yeah. But
okay.
moving on to the next one.
Yeah, GMK, as its street name is Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Attack.
Yeah.
So this one came out in 2001 and is again a direct sequel to the original Godzilla. And in this one, Godzilla is resurrected by the spirits of World War II people. People killed in World War II.
And this one, he had an interesting design.
Yeah, he looks actually
It was
kind of
very unique.
he looks kind of cool in this movie.
Yeah, I love how he had like a belly.
Yeah, he's like a beer belly. And he's like
And
hunched over.
his eyes were
or
just
pure
white.
Yeah.
He looked mean.
Yeah, and Godzilla's a villain in this movie again.
So they gave him a good look for his part in the movie.
yeah, and Mothra actually, her redesign's pretty cool too.
The
She,
Ghidorah-
she looks like an insect, not whatever a cheap. You know, you stick glue in the end of a stick and you
Yeah.
dip it in.
Yeah, it looks like a
fuzz.
first grade science project of like
Yeah.
putting fuzz balls
Like
together.
styrofoam.
Yeah. And like Baragon was in it, which was an interesting
It
choice.
was supposed to be, if I looked up the trivia right, it was supposed to be Varan and Anguirus, but they got replaced with Mothra and King Ghidorah
Yeah, see, I thought.
because they're more marketable.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I
profitable.
thought. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I do, but like,
really
remember,
do.
it works. But I remember watching it. I was like, why is King Ghidorah a good guy in this? Like,
Yeah, they're
I-
guardians. or
if
something
anything,
like that.
it would have made sense. Like if they had Rodan there, he would have been like a perfect.
Yeah,
one.
he
Or
would.
actually, you know who would have been a good resurrection for this one? King Caesar.
Yeah, I can
His
see
original
that.
role was a guardian.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he's not
I
really
don't
a
know why
popular
I don't know why they
character.
stuck Baragon in there though.
He wasn't. He
He gets killed like almost
But he was
immediately.
never really a part of the Godzilla franchise. I get he was in technically
yeah,
in
his
the
own.
in his own, but wasn't he also did he have a cameo in
He was in it. I think Destroy All Monsters for a second.
No, that's when
as
he had a
with
cameo.
Varan.
Yeah, so it's like they were technically canon, but they really weren't.
Yeah, they're kind of just like
That's what I'm saying is you could have brought
There.
back King Caesar would have been a good one, and
Yeah.
and then if you have Rodan and Mothra, I mean Rodan's popular enough, like he's
yeah,
an
but he's
original.
not King Ghidorah.
Yeah,
But
I mean but I like how mean they made Godzilla in this one.
Yeah, he was brutal.
Yeah, I mean he pummeled Baragon.
yeah, he just trying to think of something to compare it to.
Like Baragon was trying everything he could, and then didn't he was trying to burrow, and Godzilla like just caught him. And then
Have you ever seen this video? I'm going to sidetrack real quick. It shows this guy. He's in an area with a bunch of kids, like like a not a playground, but it's like a foamy area, like like the wacky gym. You ever go there years
Yeah,
ago?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like that. It's all foamy, and this guy has like these foam balls and is just throwing it at these children. He has like a soft battering ram, just knocks him over. It's kind of like that. It's pretty much tantamount to a grown man fighting a bunch of children.
yeah, he beat up Baragon bad, and
Yeah,
then
even when he got to Mothra and King Ghidorah, he just smacked them around.
yeah, and I was actually happy for once that like
Mothra dies.
because it was like for like all the years of like you just thought Godzilla if he just got one good blast on her,
Pull your mic back a little bit. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, like all the years of watching it, and you're
Yeah.
just like, if he just got one good
Oh,
blast
he
on
turns
him,
around and he just completely vaporizes her.
but like, and like, I mean, not the times when they work together, but the times when they verse each other. I
Yeah.
mean, like, um, but like for once, he was like, you know what? It seemed like as realistic as their fight should have been. Like it wasn't some like as you say the hijinks or that they
Yeah.
pulled to like give Mothra the win, like in the original one, like where they just like webbed him up.
Oh, yeah, there's always some kind of wacky hijinks.
It was like this one. It was like no, he just put her down. Like
Yeah. He just vaporized her.
and then King Ghidorah,
Who's a good guy. Yeah.
he brutalized him, right?
He like incapacitated him or nearly killed him when they first fought. And then
And isn't, like, Mothra, like,
Mothra's
sacrificed herself?
essence or whatever when she got vaporized, like her little sparkles flew to King Ghidorah. Because he was called a Ghidorah beforehand, but then when he gets like powered up, he's called King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't fly before, but now he can fly. And I forget.
Which was weird that he has wings but he can't fly.
Yeah, I mean penguins.
No, I mean like, but for King Ghidorah
Oh,
to have
yeah,
those
yeah.
giant wings, and then
And
it's
King
like,
Ghidorah is also a lot smaller, like smaller than Godzilla. And King Ghidorah has always been known for being like so much larger and taller.
yeah, he always had the upper hand on him.
Yeah, like especially in size. And he becomes King Ghidorah, and I forget the kind of nonsense that happens in between that, but I just remember the fight takes it to the ocean, or they fight in the ocean, and then Godzilla just completely blows up King Ghidorah. Like it's a huge fiery explosion. And then one of those scientist guys, Godzilla swallows a submarine, and that scientist guy just like drills through his shoulder. Because Godzilla's about to use his atomic breath, and it goes out his shoulder, his neck, or something stupid like that. And then Godzilla like blows up at the end.
Yeah, so they all just
Yeah, but Godzilla survives though, because at the end, you see little fish swimming around, and you hear a faint heartbeat. It plays his theme. So,
yeah.
what are you smiling at?
No.
So then,
Just so you just heard like a little fish.
so then the next one is Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and this one starts off in the past a little bit, where there's this girl who she does something stupid, and one of her squad mates dies, and then trying to attack Godzilla, and then some
Why can't they
boring
just
nonsense.
leave the man in peace?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of their problems would have been solved. And I'm saying in the ones where it was just like a lot of them was just leave Godzilla alone. Like,
Yeah, I forget what Godzilla was doing, but it was a stormy night, and
it's probably taking like a mid ocean crap,
yeah, Godzilla's just doing his thing. Who knows what he does at night?
giving the ocean the business.
Yeah. And then they start attacking. Then she did, like I said, she does something stupid. So then fast forward here, there's a bunch of nonsense in between that I don't remember. One of the scientists in the movie like has a crush on the girl pilot or whatever, but that doesn't matter. They call Mechagodzilla in this movie Kiryu, and this one kind of retconned first Godzilla.
Why
a
did
little
they
bit.
call him Kiru?
I have no idea. I guess Mechagodzilla is a mouthful, so Kiryu sounds better. I don't know. I would call him Mechagodzilla 3. So in the very first Godzilla movie, you see at the end, Godzilla gets completely disintegrated by the oxygen destroyer. But in this one, only his bone is left, his bones.
Yeah, just
And they take his skeleton, and then for whatever dumb reason, they put the skeleton inside Kiryu.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
They make an exoskeleton.
Yeah, I don't know why you do that though. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. For plot's sake, I guess. And when Godzilla first fights Kiryu, whatever his name is, he has him pinned, and then Godzilla roars, and he has like a genetic meltdown.
Yeah.
Because it's the DNA in the spines or whatever the
It
bones.
like calls like flashbacks.
Yeah, he thought he was Godzilla, and he goes off on attack, but he stops because he
Well,
runs
you
out
could
of
tell
power.
because it was like that little red streak in like the side of his eye.
Yeah, yeah. And I forget how this one ends. Oh no, they developed a technology called the Absolute Zero cannon.
Mhm.
And I think it hits Godzilla, and then it like pierces his chest, and there's like a huge hole, and that's how it ends. And this one's short. I remember when I was doing the marathon, it was like 80 something minutes, so not too bad. And then I think one of the good ones is Tokyo SOS, and in this one it's a direct sequel to Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and Mothra is upset now because she believes the bones of the original Godzilla must get put back into the ocean.
Yeah.
And then why does Mothra care? You know, she starts throwing a fit or whatever.
It's that Guardian nonsense.
Yeah. Stupid Mothra. And then they fight again. Bunch of other nonsense. Oh, except in this one, I forget. I think the guy's last name is Chujo. One of the guys from the first Mothra movie appears in this, and they have to summon Mothra somehow. So the guy remembers the Mothra symbol. He gets a bunch of desks outside a local school, something like that.
I remember that.
Yeah, he puts them all out, and for some reason, the girl that in the movie previous, yeah, I hear that too. What is that? I can't see how much time. Oh, only 15 minutes. Okay.
What sort of wacky hijinks is that?
Yeah, someone's trying to mess with us. But what was I saying? The girl from Godzilla Against Mechagodzilla isn't in this movie for whatever reason. They have this stupid guy, this stupid kid, who wants to be a pilot, and he ends up being like, he has to go inside Kiryu or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of nonsense, like I said. A lot of these movies comes down to just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
And the climax is Mothra dies, her young appear, they web up Godzilla, Kiryu takes Godzilla, and they both just like suicide bomb into the ocean.
Yeah.
So, and then the last one in the Millennium series is
Final Wars.
Godzilla Final Wars,
Which is just a joke.
which is just a giant mess. Well, it's a fun mess.
Yeah. That's the best way to describe it.
But for whatever reason, you'd think that with this movie, they'd bring back a lot of like, like marquee value monsters, but they dig up like Kamacuras, Kumonga, all the obscure ones for the most part.
And they bring in Zilla.
Yeah, but that was like more towards the disdain of the '98 one.
Yeah.
So I don't
But
have
that fight was so quick.
Oh yeah. So in this one doesn't even have a basic timeline in terms of continuity with other movies. I actually looked this up, and it takes place in the future, like 2030X or 2030 something. And these aliens come down.
Well, the thing, but why? But the thing for like the humans is they finally developed like an efficient monster fighting force.
Yeah, they're mutants.
Yeah,
I forget what they call.
because I remember like their big scene was to show their efficiency was taking out Abira.
Oh yeah, he's in this movie too.
But he was like smaller and he's on land.
Yeah.
And like I mean, you beat up Abira.
Yeah, they beat up a lobster.
Yeah, you just
They just shot him with.
now the city can eat.
Yeah. No more starving children in Japan.
God. But like, yeah, I mean, this one was fine. It was just like a fun adventure.
Yeah,
If you
there's
just-
a lot of monster stuff going on in this
Yeah.
one, and Godzilla doesn't have a lot of screen time. He has like 10 minutes.
Because what happens is like all these monsters are popping up and then they're just disappearing. Like you see like this spaceship come and take them away.
And the giant ball looks like the thing in Epcot.
And so these aliens come. Wasn't it they were like preaching peace?
Yeah,
And they do their
how they
usual-
always do. Yeah,
And it turns out they actually were the ones releasing the monsters.
and they want
Like
to
they were like a roster. Like,
yeah, and they want to
then-
enslave the Earth because they say that whatever that guy and they're all wearing leather for whatever reason.
Yeah, and they had like mascara on.
Yeah, they look like a Japanese punk band,
Yeah.
not some kind of like aliens.
Yeah. Like a retro band.
Yeah, like something like in the '80s, in the heart of the '80s, with all the cocaine.
You're now listening to G-Force.
What was I saying?
But what happens is that in the beginning, you see Godzilla got trapped in the ice.
yeah, this is like years ago.
Yeah, they were able to effectively trap him in the ice, like in the Arctic,
But it was like by chance. It was like an earthquake that just happened right underneath
Yeah.
Godzilla's feet.
and they had like a guy who looked like Tom Selleck in the cast for some reason.
Captain Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an actual MMA fighter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just always thought he looked like Tom Selleck with a
Oh.
mustache.
There was one part where.
And he just kept delivering those cheesy lines.
Oh yeah, he was the only guy. I saw the Japanese version, like to see how the audio was. He wasn't dubbed or anything. Even in Japan,
assume he
it was just his American voice in the Japanese version of it. Everyone's talking Japanese, and then just be his like his deep voice.
I will never forget my favorite and cheesiest moment.
Is that when he karate chops the girl in the neck?
No, not that.
That's pretty
When
funny.
like when Godzilla's going on his rampage, and then he sends a message to the alien leader. Goes, "There's two things you need to be afraid of on Earth. One of them is me, and the other is Godzilla."
Yeah. I was gonna say one of my favorite parts is he's like fighting those girls or whatever, the other aliens, and then the girl loses her sword, and she says, "Are you gonna hit a?" Like he raises his fist at her, and she says, "Are you gonna hit a woman?" He like looks at his fist, opens it up, and he says, "Yeah." Karate chops her in the neck.
He was so like ridiculous, but like fun to like watch.
Yeah, he did it with all the straight face. Like he never.
That's what I mean. He just laughed at it. Like
There's like a bunch of kung fu stuff going on too.
yeah, didn't he have like a sword?
Yeah, for some reason, like a captain just carrying a sword around with him.
Like even though and then their ship is like a drill. It's like a giant drill.
Yeah, it's called Gotengo.
Yeah.
There's one part where I remember the guy's name was Ozaki. He's like the Kaiser. That was disgusting. It's called the Kaiser. He has like M based. I don't know. It's a bunch of nonsense that flew over my head. But he has to fight his friend Kazama, who got like telepathically messed with because that other guy X messed with everybody. Like the guy in all leather messes with all the other mutants, and they fall under his rule. And then they fight in like motorcycles, and they're so like experienced with their firearms. They're shooting bullets, and the bullets are so accurate they hit each other midair.
Yeah. It was like the movie Wanted, like where they could curve the bullets and they were hitting each other. And then the best is like the one sequence
they jump off their motorcycles and they're
fighting
midair.
Or what was it when they're on the front of their tires fighting with one hand?
Yeah.
And then the best is they're on a highway. There's no other cars in sight.
Yeah. Imagine if like it ends with like one of them getting hit by a car and falls off the bridge.
Or just imagine you're on your way to traffic, you just see that, like you're on your way to work, you're just like, oh, all right.
Two guys duking it out.
Winner gets the promotion. No, and then there was that like of course they had to throw in Minya.
Yeah.
His weird subplot where he friended that kid and
the hunter dad.
Yeah, his like weird dad.
And like that's like when you're like, all right, what kind of wacky hijinks are these?
Yeah.
Or is this?
Like it was already like ridiculous enough.
And they bring in Minya.
Yeah.
And he just all of a sudden grows.
Yeah, he's the size of a man, and then he just grows. Like
yeah.
I don't know I forget why he was just normal human size and just chilling.
And it's like he decided to just grow.
It's like Godzilla's his dad, but he's just like doing his own thing.
Yeah. I mean, if Godzilla's been trapped in, maybe it's his adopted son, because Godzilla up until that point has been trapped.
He looks
in
nothing
ice.
like Godzilla. Let's just like get that out of
Godzilla's like Godzilla's. How should I put this? His skin is like dark charcoal, let's say, and Minya is like a bright, like
Gray.
lime green. He's like greenish.
To me, he always looked gray. He was like
You
a
need to get your
palish.
eyes checked.
He was like a palish gray.
All right, fine. Palish green.
You say potato, I say potato.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's Minya. Who cares?
Yeah, and Minya does like. Just his proportions are not the same as Godzilla. He has like longer arms than Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's got like a stupid fatter face than Godzilla.
Yeah, and he has like a little like Weasley tail.
You stop it. Yeah, Minya. I never liked Minya. He was so
pointless.
Stupid.
He was one of the dumbest characters.
Maybe Godzilla Jr.
Or do you remember?
were
Do you
better.
remember in the Son of Godzilla when they're feeding him?
Oh,
They're
that
throwing down
embarrassing
the
scene.
yeah,
They're like
they're-
throwing mangoes at him.
Yeah, the mangoes would be like to him the size of like sand. They're feeding him with it.
Yeah.
It was so stupid.
Or like an airsoft pebble.
He rubs his tummy and then like shoots out a giant puff ring.
Oh, and Destroy All Monsters. We forgot to talk about this. Minya actually kills one of Ghidorah's head. You remember that? He rubs his stomach and does that, and like a circle goes around on the head and just murders
He
it.
does that weird noise when he does something good. He's like,
Yeah.
like, and Godzilla like pats him on the head like.
Godzilla says I should fight my own battles, you know.
God. Or he jumped onto the.
Oh yeah.
He flipped Gabra because he jumped onto the plank.
Yeah.
A terrible like sequence of him falling.
I can just imagine they're behind like a blue screen,
Oh, yeah.
and the actor just squatting down.
Yeah, there's like just nothing good about Minya.
Yeah, he's always been like a goofball, but not like not like a comedic
lovable,
character
yeah.
or lovable or even likable.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there, and you're like, oh, it's Godzilla's parasite son.
Yeah. And that, like, he frustrated me, like, in his movies, because it was like Godzilla would be defending him, and then he would, like, go try to get comfort from Godzilla, and then Godzilla would get cheap shotted by the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, what was it, Kumonga stabbed Godzilla when he was, like, trying to comfort,
Yeah, something stupid like
yeah,
that.
it was, you were just, like, frustrated, like, let him do his job, and
Yeah,
then,
you go be annoying somewhere else.
yeah, you go eat some more mangoes.
Yeah.
But,
And-
back to Final Wars, we don't want to,
Yeah. A lot of weird monsters though. They have Manda in the beginning,
yeah.
and he gets killed immediately.
Yeah, by the thing.
They freeze him and then they drill right through his body.
He was another character. He was
Kind of there. He had his own movie. He was in the movie like Artagon or Ertragon.
yeah, but like when he was in Destroy All Monsters, his one highlight was him just wrapping around. Like, a
Like, yeah,
train.
I think they were in New York City when that.
It's just
Even though it
wrapping
looked
around-
nothing like New
just
York.
wrapping around a train.
Yeah.
Like it was just he's just a giant immobile snake with tiny hands,
Yeah.
small hands.
What was that?
Those Austin Powers.
Oh.
No, two things that scare me, and one of them is nuclear war. What's the other? What? The other thing that scares you? Carnies, circus folk. Smell like cabbage. Small hands.
Oh God.
But
Kamakuris was in this too, as he said. Kumonga.
yeah, Kamakuris got impaled. Godzilla just caught him and he could cloak for some reason. Then Godzilla just caught
For
him.
Kumonga, he shot like a.
His webs looked like. His webs just were like nets.
Yeah.
He shot it up and then it.
Oh, then he
expanded.
shot one of the things, and Godzilla like parries and grabs it and spins around like Mario throwing Bowser, just hurls him into the deep distance, just disappears out of sight.
This is like Kamakuris, like he's cloaked into the trees, comes out, Godzilla catches him and throws him into like a power line.
Yeah, and it kills him.
Yeah. And then I didn't get why they just had Hedorah there just to be killed immediately.
His scenes were cut. I heard they actually had a sequence where Godzilla's fighting Hedorah, and like cut it.
Was it like a good fight?
I don't know.
I would assume it'd be a good
It was
fight.
filmed. It was filmed. It wasn't like they didn't film it because of
because in the
budgetary.
movie I was like oh, Hedorah, that would have been a good fight. Like he struggles a bit, but Godzilla like. But in the movie, you just see literally ocean. I think what was it, Sydney, Australia? Oh no,
The
that was
last fight?
Zilla.
The
That was
Zilla's
Zilla.
in Sydney.
Were they in like?
They were like in Tokyo or
Yeah,
something.
you just see the water, like the bay, and then you just see lights, and then you see
the atomic breath like surge up.
Yeah, and then you see Hedorah go flying into a building, and then you see Abira come in and he hits him in the eye with his pincer, and then Godzilla just blasts them both to death.
And when he blasts them, he pushes the building like Hedorah's behind, and then the building like goes for hundreds of feet, and then it blows up.
And
But-
I mean, like I like this movie growing up because it was just Godzilla just mowing down. His
Yeah, it was
enemies.
like a serial killer
It was like a victory
in a-
lap for him. Like,
Yeah.
and then
just butchering all the other monsters.
like Gigan's when he fought Gigan, that was a pretty satisfying.
yeah,
kill.
Gaigan looked really cool in this
Yeah,
movie.
that was the one where he finally had the beam, but it was like
It was like fireworks kind of.
yeah, and like he did the razor. He shot his
had,
chain
like,
around Godzilla.
Oh yeah, he also had like nipple, like things. His nipples would be like a pocket. It opens up and shoots two little
the
like
chains, and then
Yeah.
it pulls in Godzilla, and then he gets close and just blasts him in the head.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
smart
that's also another
thinking
thing
by
about
Gigan.
the Antarctic thing. I love how the two people watching it are just like two guys, and the one has a Hawaiian shirt
yeah.
on, and they're in the Arctic, and this guy has a Hawaiian shirt on. And then Godzilla turns, looks at them, and the guy just goes, "Uh-oh." Just blast them.
Oh yeah. Forget there's another monster. Oh yeah.
And then there's
For some reason they really
soccer one.
besides Hedorah Hedorah's the only monster they didn't show like terrorizing the city. They showed King Caesar of all monsters,
Yeah, he's a
doing
guardian.
his shenanigans.
That surprised me when they brought him in.
Yeah,
It's like
they had Zilla, laying waste to whatever
a
Sydney.
Bira.
I think Anguirus was in Shanghai.
Yeah, he was doing like a rolly.
Yeah, Rodan was in New York. Kamakuris is in some city doing something. I think Kamakuris was in Paris. So they showed all the monsters, even Kumonga in
Oh, yeah,
Arizona.
because Kamakuris was like by the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. So they show all the other monsters wreaking havoc across the world, and they don't show Hedorah for whatever reason.
They show Kumonga going across the desert.
Yeah, they show him like crushed like a trailer park. That's it.
But and then
Oh wait, can we talk about? There's a quick scene in New York where remember the those two like pimp looking fellas are like I don't know what they're doing. And then
a
the cop
cop-
goes up to them. He's like, I'm gonna blow you all the way back to Jersey. And then I don't know, it's just a bunch of nonsense. And like they see Rodan come.
I will say it was cool though that they actually showed Rodan flying at like supersonic.
Yeah, you
speed.
could actually see the supersonic
Yeah.
hit the
And
other
then
building.
he landed on a building.
Yeah. And then there's that one scene with Godzilla plays soccer with Anguirus, King Caesar, and Rodan.
Yeah, which was weird because you saw like what was it? King Caesar jumps up and kicked Anguirus,
Which
and
would
then,
hurt him.
And then you see Godzilla try to go for it like a goalie.
Yeah, why would Godzilla just turn around and try to...
And then what was it? Rodan just flying around. What was it? Godzilla. He downed King Caesar, right? Or no, was it? He used his tail, hit Anguirus into Rodan, downed him,
Yeah.
and then he downed like King Caesar after.
Yeah, Godzilla didn't murder those three. And I know why. They didn't shoot the scenes where they were attacking their cities. They shot this first. That's why they couldn't destroy the suits or something stupid like that. So, yeah.
And then Monster.
They call Monster X, which is the meteorite that's coming to Earth. Godzilla tries to stop it. And it's like another wacky shenanigans mixed with kung fu. I never would imagine... I would never want to see it anyway. Kung fu mixed with Godzilla. Like they just even the monsters are like jumping around, doing flips.
I was it was funny because I was rewatching Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla.
The first one.
Yeah, and where King Caesar and Mechagodzilla first fight, you see Mechagodzilla gonna do like a chop, chop King Caesar. But the actor, like, it was supposed to look close where King Caesar ducked it, but the actor didn't even come close, and you just see King Caesar duck it anyway. But anyway, like, it was always, like, weird when you see the monsters try to, like, do anything other than charge each other.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be like hulking figures.
Yeah.
And in some shots, it just looks like a guy in tight spandex with some like shoulder pads and a mask on, especially for Monster
Or
X.
the original King Kong.
yeah.
Not the original, but King Kong vs. Godzilla. His
Well,
suit,
yeah.
literally.
But like, for the Godzilla movies, they would usually slow down the footage of Godzilla. They would shoot it at a certain amount of frames per second, and they would slow it down to give that illusion that Godzilla moves slow. But on this one, they just threw that. Like all the other
No,
ones,
they made him move. Like
yeah,
in
all
this
these
one.
ones preceding this movie, Godzilla was hulking. He'd walk slow. This one, Godzilla's like zipping around everywhere. Yeah, like he's doing not flips. He's like jumping up and down, running really fast.
Yeah.
Kinda-
Or you saw like where Zilla jumped at him and he dodged it quickly and clocked him with his tail.
Yeah, but that's fine because Godzilla was stationary. It's just his tail hit him.
But still, you never really saw him move, even dodge that fast.
Yeah, Godzilla's supposed to be like a fat slob where
Yeah.
he's slow. You know, he has a lot of mass.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and he's just moving fast.
yeah, and then so he gets to the final battle, and
Monster X.
one of the most cringy scenes I think ever in a Godzilla movie, minus like the Minya scenes,
Oh.
was at the end battle where before Monster X, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, transforms into
Kaiser.
Kaiser Ghidorah, King Ghidorah.
Which is a different. It's not King Ghidorah. It's different.
But you see Godzilla when he gains the upper hand on him, he's on him punching
Oh,
him.
and it's
beating
like
him. And then
parallels
it's parallel. You see
Ozaki
the
and
hero
X.
beating up on
Yeah.
the guy. It was cringy. It was
Yeah.
really that was bad. But then so then he's beating him up. Then Monster X transforms into Kaiser Ghidorah,
Yeah.
and then Kaiser Ghidorah picks up Godzilla. Like he gains the upper hand on him, picks him up, and he starts draining his energy. Again, another cringy scene. With
Yeah.
the human was what's that guy's name?
Ozaki. Because before that,
They're all like
he was losing his battle to X. Like before any of this happened, he was fighting X. He was losing, and then he pulls out like something that looks like a crucifix that the girl in the red jacket gave to him earlier in the movie, and he like looks like he
Yeah,
was.
what was with like everyone who wasn't a mutant had like these weird leather suits,
Yeah, everyone was wearing leather in this movie.
and then even Captain Tom Selleck had like his jacket too,
Yeah,
and his sword.
even when the submissive guys too are wearing leather. Well, that's a different movie. But he Ozaki sticks the thing in his leg, and then he gets like infinity amount of energy. So he goes into the Gotengo, and as Godzilla's getting his energy stripped from him, he shoots the limited energy, and that's when Godzilla goes like berserk.
But the best part is they're all trying to figure out what to do, and then he just
he does like a flip into the chair,
and then jumps in, and then when he's like summoning his energies, like he's like.
I can imagine just how embarrassing that must have been.
Yeah, like he sounds like he's trying to like power up a poop. Like,
get out of me.
Yeah,
and you're not gonna cause me pain.
And then you see the symbol, the infinity symbol. He shoots it at Godzilla.
Yeah,
and then Godzilla takes Kaiser Ghidorah, throws him up, transforms his beam, changes color
into red,
and then blasts him.
Yeah, it just blows him up.
And then Minya shows up when Godzilla was going to turn on the humans. And Minya shows up where
he T-poses him.
Another bad, cringy parallel moment was...
Oh, the kid does it first.
Yeah, no, because they were about to attack Godzilla, and then the kid shows up, puts his hand at them, like, no, like, standing in the way. No, because wasn't his grandpa pulled up his, like, rifle?
Oh, no, not even that. When Godzilla turns on the humans, I think, like, Captain Gordon reaches for his sword.
And the grandpa pulls up like his 1880 musket.
Yeah. You just saw him throw a monster into the atmosphere and blast him. You're gonna stop him with like a musket,
And the other,
like a Springfield from World War I.
Tom Selleck with his sword.
I think like Izaki also like steps in front of the girl too. Like, what are you gonna do? He's gonna flip around him.
And then the kid does his hands up like, no, don't, you're gonna have to go through me. And then Minya looks at the kid, grows,
T-poses.
But then this is where he grows and then does that to Godzilla. And then Godzilla turns around and walks away. And then they like say goodbye.
And then right before Minya leaves, he looks at the kid and then he shoots like an atomic breath. And then he just leaves.
Yeah. And then it ends with Godzilla and Minya in the water. Godzilla turns, looks at the camera like in the sunset, and then does his like roar.
Yeah,
and then it like goes to this like kind of montage of it.
Yeah.
Over the years, which was like a nice little like send off.
Yeah, because Final Wars was commemorated the 50th anniversary of Godzilla.
Yeah. So that's why like it was. You understand why they did a victory lap for Godzilla, like just
butchering monsters left and right.
Yeah.
Mercilessly.
But the human element was really...
This is the most ridiculous one,
It was cringy, but also lovable, because when you look back, you just laugh at it.
Yeah, them like, doing all that kung fu stuff. Captain Gordon with his samurai sword. Remember the guy, he's like, Gigan! Rise!
Oh, dude, that was funny, too. Like, every time he's watching his monsters get killed by Godzilla, he's like, ah!
Yeah, it's like he's watching it on, like, a plasma screen TV. Just standing there.
Like when you're watching, like, a team you hate and you're hoping this next team is going to beat them. And
yeah.
Then
it's like watching any team play the Patriots.
You're just like, all right, come on. And then they're like, oh, they lost. All right. And this is at one point he just goes, next.
I remember when Gigan got powered up, he's like, oh, let's see what he can do against the Gigan. Oh, and the humans, they come behind him. And he's like, hold on a second. He's just like watching and he hears Godzilla like roar. And that's when he turns around and faces them. Next. So going off of that, 12 years later, came out Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
So... I saw this in the theaters, limited release. I
saw it after.
Yeah, I think I drove 30 minutes away to see it. It was in all Japanese. I had to read the subtitles, and the people I went with, we sat in the front.
Yeah.
Very front. And I fell asleep in it.
Even though this one is like, all these like supposed true Godzilla fans,
they love this movie completely.
Well, because they're trying to join the critics on like tearing down King of the Monsters, so it's like, oh, Shin Godzilla. This. Well, is
even before King of the Monsters came out, they would always hold this one superior to the 2014 one, even though they're different films. You know.
This one,
they're like Godzilla was more this and that.
One, like the Shin one was more like the 54, where Godzilla was just a destructive force.
It goes back to, or harkens back to, you know, what Godzilla's an allegory for. It's about the nuclear, you know, the horrors of nuclear, because Godzilla's like a mutation or some kind of mess.
This one, like he had some weird phases.
Yeah, he has
like that original, like that original one with like the googly eyes.
Yeah.
That was weird. And then like when Godzilla like does his like breath, his like mouth opens up.
Yeah, his bottom jaw splits, like it drops and it splits in half.
Yeah. And then he has like his tail shoots it out, his dorsal fin
Yeah.
shoot it out.
So the thing
like
with
a
this
light show.
Godzilla is he always like adapts because he shoots the stuff from his dorsal plates when the Americans come by and they just drop like a bunch of bombs on him and he
Americans.
bleeds. Yeah, remember in the movie they're trying to stop. They get like a shuttle bomber or something like
Yeah.
that, shuttlecraft, whatever. Yeah, they actually call the Americans. They bomb him, and he actually bleeds. So that's when he like develops that he like adapts, and that's
Yeah.
how you can shoot it.
He's
from
like
the back.
constantly evolving.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the next state.
And the movie ends with, at the end, they freeze Godzilla because they figure out that they made this coagulant that can like, because he always has to cool down after he uses atomic breath. So they mimic that like effect in his body with it through a coagulant, and then he freezes indefinitely. They don't know how long, and at the end,
You saw like
it
little
pans
ones.
up his tail, very eerie, and it shows like a bunch of small like Godzilla skeletons or whatever, like humanoid Godzilla skeletons at the tip of his tail, and it ends. But with this movie, though, I know people say it's like a satire kind of too,
Yeah.
where it shows the Japanese, like the higher ups, whatever the officials are, like going out of their way to protect as many civilians as possible. Because this came out after that Fukushima, whatever that disaster they had in 2012.
The nuclear one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it, Fukushima or something?
I don't know where exactly it happened.
Yeah.
I just remember the nuclear. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out after that. So instead of
It was a meltdown, right?
I think so. I don't know. Probably should look the stuff up before we talk about it.
And did it cause like I don't want to like say the wrong thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but it was just a big disaster.
Yeah, it was a huge horrific mess. So this movie though, I like Godzilla's design.
I thought it was interesting when he was doing his beam and like
Yeah, it's purple.
first the smoke comes out, then the fire, and then it transformed into that like little like purple laser.
Yeah, it was actually
It was
pretty-
like a laser.
It was pretty cool though. I would
Yeah.
say.
Because then it wasn't blowing things up. It was like cutting things in half.
Yeah, it was like it was a beam that like would bisect anything it hits and it would just slice it. And I used to like this movie. Like, obviously, when you compare it to like the 2014 one or even King of the Monsters, they're very different movies.
It's hard to compare.
It's like
them.
comparing the original to like
because it
Godzilla
depends.
vs Mechagodzilla 2.
Yeah, it all goes back to what aspect of Godzilla you like.
Yeah, if you want something that's more in root of the original, then Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
If you want something that's like the 30 other films that Godzilla's like, then you want like
King
the
of the
2014 or
Monsters.
King of the Monsters. And I thought the human characters in this movie so boring. I cannot remember a single name of them. Not because I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce
Because
it.
they're just in a boardroom discussing what they can do.
Yeah. They're trying to figure out most of the movie. They're like, look at slide. They're trying to figure out what Godzilla is. Yeah. And I like this movie, but just seeing the people online like defend it and like
Well, I don't
bend
have a
over
problem with
for
them
it.
defending it, but when
well,
it's
not
just
even
like,
that. Like they go out of their way. Let's say it's not them defending it. It's just them like
oh, like this
they
is the
they
pinnacle,
say how
like,
they say
this
how
is the
superior
pinnacle
it
of
is.
Godzilla movies, like modern.
And they always do that attack where they're like, if you don't like it, you don't understand it.
Yeah, or if you don't like it, you're an idiot.
That's what I said.
Well, all right.
Touche.
I'm one of those idiots. No, well, I mean, there's a way of like, no, I mean, because there's a way of saying like if you don't, there's one way of being like you don't understand it, which can falter your understanding of it.
Yeah.
Like of it, no, I'm not your understanding, but your enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there's also another way of seeing people like you're just an idiot.
Yeah, those
Like,
are the
they just
be like
attack.
those to our 7 perverts who listen to this. Don't be like those people.
Perverts.
Don't be like them.
Yeah, because those are the like they you find those people in all like in any of those bad movies like
Yeah, or any kind of like even some of the Christopher Nolan movies. Not to go too off track, but like Inception or stuff. I never seen those or Interstellar.
I saw
just see
parts
people,
of Inception.
I just see people praise the movie. Then if someone says like, "Oh, I didn't like this aspect or that aspect," they just get bombarded.
Yeah.
Like let's say The Dark Knight Rises. I do not like that movie. I think it's a bad movie. If I like went on the interwebs and said that, I'd probably get attacked.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I thought out of those three, The Dark Knight Rises
It was the worst
Yeah,
by far. But
Yeah,
that's another discussion.
yeah, that's yeah.
But
Yeah, but I know exactly because people are like, oh, these Batmans are the best by far. I'm like, eh.
Well, I like.
I mean, Dark Knight. I think if you take Joker out of it, it's an okay movie.
But I think
Heath Ledger stole the show. There's
not
no
to go too
denying
far,
that.
far off track, but I think what makes The Dark Knight work, let's say, is that it's more written like it's not a superhero movie. You know, it's like a thriller. Think of it like that.
Yeah.
It's like a crime thriller where Batman could be replaced with some kind of super cop or something like that.
Yeah, it's
You
so
know,
would
that's
work.
why I think why it works
Yeah.
to its degree because it's not like he's
But-
running around,
But it
flying,
definitely
punching
gets
people.
elevated a lot with Heath Ledger's
Oh
performance.
yeah,
of Joker,
Heath
'cause it was
Ledger stole
phenomenal.
he
in
stole the
that.
show.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's why it works. Well, not, of course that's Heath Ledger, but it's like a crime movie. You know, it's like
Yeah.
a thriller.
yeah,
So that's why I think that works. But
yeah. And the first one was good.
yeah, but not to get too far
Yeah.
off track. I think we're just gonna talk about Godzilla. We're gonna
Yeah.
round it up because we have something to do after this. So just round it off with the anime trilogy, I guess. Maybe one day we'll talk more in depth about Shin Godzilla because there is a lot to talk about it. You know, it does spark
Because
debate.
I remember Sean was saying with this Godzilla, the thing with
The
him
Shin
is-
one?
Yeah, theoretically, is he could just keep evolving
Yeah, that,
to like a higher state where like he would just be like
it's like you can't really kill him. He'll
'cause he
always
just-
come back.
Yeah, and
Like
which I think is
I don't think you heard what I said.
what
Oh, that's okay. Maybe it's better you didn't hear what I said.
I'll hear when I re-listen to it. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I like Godzilla. When he got into his final form, that was good.
Yeah, I think his sixth form or fifth.
Yeah,
He had one, he had two. Oh no, they count the first form as his tail in the beginning.
yeah.
And the
that
second
was
one's
weird. The
on later.
googly eyed one.
That's the second one.
yeah, that was just weird.
So his fourth form then.
Because that just looked goofy.
Yeah. So we're gonna finish this episode with the anime trilogy.
What'd you think of it?
I only saw the first two actually. I didn't care to see the third
I saw
one.
the third one.
The second one was pretty.
It was interesting.
like the
Their
second
take
one.
on Mechagodzilla and King Ghidorah.
It was a city, or like it used to be.
well, he was a nano metal.
Yeah.
He was more of like an AI than like an actual.
And then there's this subplot, or not subplot. The nano metal can like take over people, and
they become part of the being.
Yeah.
Like it's like they all become. It's like a hive mentality.
yeah.
Like where they all serve that one. They all become like basically just one being.
Yeah, then Haru he like makes a sacrifice where those couple of other idiots are like, we have to join, like we have to become actually a part of Mechagodzilla to beat Godzilla. And doesn't he like
Well,
destroy
they were
something?
like they were like a different race.
Yeah, whatever. Those numbskulls. He like killed them or something.
Well, yeah, because they were going because he saw the potential, the harm of Mechagodzilla, like what it would become
Yeah.
would be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But the third one, it was very interesting what they did with King Ghidorah. They made him like a god.
It's like, isn't he?
So here, I thought he was gonna be like normal King Ghidorah, but what happened was he doesn't exist in our plane of existence.
we can't comprehend
He
it or something,
Exactly.
right?
So he exists in another field, like another dimension.
Yeah.
But what happens is he then a human host connects him to the world.
It's that
Which was
one.
that one
it's
guy-
that one that looks like a girl,
Yeah.
Nefarious or something.
Yeah, he was like the-
Metaphides.
Yeah, yeah. And so what happens is when they do like the ritual and everything, these like black holes open up in the
Yeah.
sky like for another dimension, and then you see
Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah's heads come in. You don't see his full body; you just see his heads. But so he goes to fight Godzilla, but Godzilla can't hurt him or touch him because he's not existing in this plane.
Yeah.
But then what happens is
Isn't
They
Mothra in this?
her egg is in it,
Oh.
and like the natives of Earth that like survived and like evolved.
They're like insects, right?
They're like They're like yeah, they're like weird like that.
Yeah, they're like
they like evolved to
From
like they
insects,
like adapt.
yeah.
Yeah, and but they like Mothra's egg got left behind,
yeah,
and so they like the two girls. Like,
yeah, those two. Yeah,
they can talk for her,
Yeah.
and they worship her as their god. And so King Ghidorah, what happens is they then kill the guy, the human host, that Metaphes guy.
yeah,
And then what happens is King Ghidorah then gets physically, he physically manifests into the human, into that realm.
Yeah.
And then so Godzilla's able to like destroy the heads. He doesn't kill him, but he fights him back.
Yeah,
Like he's able
'cause
to actually hurt them.
I think in the second one or even the first one, it's revealed that I think didn't Metaphides say his world was destroyed by Ghidorah? Something stupid like that.
But it's more of like they just worship Ghidorah and he just destroys the planets he comes to.
Yeah. So
It-
this guy's been this is like his master plan that he's been keeping.
Yeah,
in his back
it's like it's
pocket.
either you join Ghidorah or die kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so it was an interesting take, a very like he was like basically a god.
And the whole premise is that or they weren't supposed to be. They like when they were traveling, didn't they get trapped in a black hole or something like
what
that?
happened
Where
is
it felt
I
like
can't remember. So what happened is
it's something like 20
so
years
Godzilla
past.
wipes out like all the planet. Like he's
Yeah,
destroying
yeah.
other monsters, taking over. So they have to leave Earth, and so they went on a 20-year trek. Like they left, and the way time worked, they left, and they felt like 20 years to them.
It was
but
really like 20,000 or
It was
10,000.
200,000 years.
It was 200.
200 no, or was it 20,000?
Might have been 20,000.
It was a
Or
while,
10,000.
but the Earth advanced like that many years because
Yeah, I think they got caught in something. Or
yeah.
that
So
like
then
time was
Godzilla
different.
comes back. So then they come back and they fight what they think is the first Godzilla, but really
Which is
it's
really
his-
small, and
It's
at the
really his
end-
son because it's the same size as the first Godzilla. Kill him, but then at the end of that one,
A giant
mountain-
1,000-foot
it literally a
Godzilla.
mountain erupts and it's the original Godzilla, and he grew like to 1,000 feet. And
Yeah.
he wipes them out easily because his breath is just sheer. Like
Yeah.
even his tail was.
Oh yeah,
And then
that was like the big twist at the end. They
yeah,
killed their
and
own
then
Godzilla.
the second one they come back, and then now they discover like nanometal,
Yeah, which is Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla, and then at the end so they were going to use Mechagodzilla to kill Godzilla, and then the Haru
They like destroy the base.
because he realized it was just going to take over.
Yeah, yeah.
And then at the end of it, so then they kill off the Metaphies guy.
Haru dies.
What happens
He
is so that
sacrifices
they leave
himself.
Godzilla alone, and at the end they coexist with the natives.
Yeah,
He married one, she's pregnant, but there's still nanometal. Like there's still a little bit of nanometal left, so he for fear of like the nanometal coming back
Yeah.
at any point, he takes the last of it and just goes like he gets Godzilla's attention, has Godzilla basically just destroy him and the nanometal.
why doesn't he just put the metal on a ship and just course correct it for Godzilla?
I think also because it's like he was just kind of like all the memories of Godzilla, he was just kind of like done with it. But it was,
What a good father. Dips out.
but and then it ends with like the natives like building a shrine for him,
Yeah.
memory but that's how it ends.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I thought the first one was okay enough, and then the second one I thought was pretty bad. I really like the second one.
I knew they were like when they mentioned like Ghidorah, like when they
Well,
were.
you always have to bring him back for like a finale.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought it was interesting. The takes on the different
Yeah,
monsters.
yeah.
Like they made Godzilla huge. He wasn't radioactive. His blast, like Godzilla, when they came back, he like became almost like a part of the Earth. Like
He's like a plant.
he like evolved with it.
Yeah.
So his blast wasn't radiation. It was like an electromagnetic force that he
Yeah.
charged up and shot. It was like
It
electric.
made a cool sound.
It was like an electric sound wave.
Yeah.
Was the best way because he charged it like that. So it was interesting. It was entertaining enough.
Yeah, I didn't really like. I mean, I don't watch anime, so like, kind of jarring watching everyone like overreact. And just the style is kind of annoying. Like the artistic style, yeah. That's so annoying. I hate that kind of stuff.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
It was interesting for what it was.
So I think we're at 54 minutes. So I guess we'll talk about whenever Craig comes back, we'll talk about the remake galore and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how we'll end it. The episode. Yeah.
Don't get yourself.